Hello everyone. It's Renata here from RW Psychology. So good to have you join me on a Sunday afternoon. Now, I'm just getting all the tech set up, so bear with me. I'm doing my best with all of this. It's all a bit exciting. I really like this new program, so I'm giving it a go and see how we manage today. Now, can everyone... First of all, we need to do a bit of a check. Can you hear me? You'll see down the bottom there's a chat box. You're welcome to add in there. Please let me know if you can hear me and see me. It would be really helpful if you could let me know, just so that I know that it's all A-okay. Excellent. Great. Awesome. I've got some familiar faces in the room today, so it's good to have you join. Fantastic. All right. Now, if it's getting a bit too bright, I'll try and reposition so the window's not in the way. So, welcome. We've got a whole bunch of people, a lot of familiar faces. Look, I've had an amazing response to this today. So there's 30 people that are joining us. They may get it on replay for whatever reason. Fingers crossed it all goes well. So, you're also welcome to activate your webcam. But I'm going to keep mics on mute just so it doesn't get too chaotic and messy, because obviously we've all got dogs and kids and whatnot, and it can get a bit noisy and disruptive. So the whole idea for today was to try and give everyone a bit of a helping hand, I suppose. Look, we're all in a really bizarre space in time. Oh, you can't hear Melissa. Oh, no. I'm not sure what's happening there. Oh, Jennifer, you can't hear me? Before we kick off, has anybody else got sound issues? Just give me a bit of a heads up if you can hear, yes or no. Oh, we're good. Melanie's good. Excellent. Naj, you're good. Fantastic. Melissa, you're great. Excellent. It's a whole new program and it's very, very cool, but it's just takes a little bit of getting used to. When your buttons are on yellow, it means it's active. Blue means it's not. So that might be helpful too. All right. So let's get started. A little bit about me. Who am I? I'm Renata. I'm a psychologist. I am the principal psych and director of RW Psychology. And both clinics, we've got one at Oran Park and one at Milperra. We've been around for a long time. I've got a history in New South Wales Health and private practice, long history with lots of different types of psychology. But I've been working now since 99, client-facing, so it's been a long time. I've got a real passion to serve the community, and I really, really do strongly, passionately believe in mental health and really want to help people who are struggling. Hence why I'm here today. So hopefully we'll get to cover some really interesting things. I really want today to be as user-friendly, as interactive as we can make it. So I'll ask a lot of questions along the way. If you want to ask questions, please pop them in the chat box. Even if you want to ask a question, I can always unmute you if you want to talk as well. We can always do that. So we'll try and make it as user-friendly as we can. If anyone has trouble along the way, give me a wave and we can go from there. All right, just pop it in the chat box if you struggle and I'll try and see if we can sort it out. So I'll stop randomly and go through the chat box and just see if we can catch up. All right, so we are all in lockdown. Here we are. And I'm guessing that a lot of people are not really doing what they would usually be doing. The first thing that I've been hearing a lot from all of my patients and just in general, people are really starting to struggle with the mundane, time, juggling, what do we do? All the things that we would normally do are slowly being, taken away in some ways. And it's kind of hard to deal with. Especially when there's a lot of media, there's a lot of scaring going on, a lot of people are quite frightened. So really what I thought we would do today is break it down a little bit and see what we can do to try and get on top of some really good mental health. How do we look after ourselves in this situation? And how do we really start to take control of what we can? Okay. So does that sound all right? Has anybody got any burning questions at the outset? Is there anything anybody wants to start off asking? I've got a whole bunch of stuff we're going to cover, but I just wanted to see if there was anything that anyone wanted to say at the outset. Amy, you're typing, I can see. Oh, thank you, Amy. And to be honest, I was really overwhelmed with the number of comments on all the posts. I actually expected to have about 3 or 4 today. Having 30 is insanely amazing. I'm so, so excited to be able to do it. And look, if today is helpful for anyone, I'm more than happy to do some more. I've got another 3 in the pipes for what I'd like to do. So we'll see how we go. Hey, you can all let me know what you think at the end of today, and then we can see what we do from here. All right. Well, let's get started. Now, today, the first thing that I kind of wanted to cover when we go into these situations of lockdown, we've got all these news announcements, from 6 o'clock, we're not allowed to do what we're used to doing. What we find is we're now in our homes a lot of the time, a lot more than we are used to. And we kind of get that whole casino effect where we don't know what time it is. Sometimes you can get up, check your watch thinking, gosh, surely it's nearly lunchtime and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. So we're doing a whole lot more eating, a whole lot more checking the clock, a whole lot more of that kind of stuff when we're not used to it. Okay, so days can seem really long, especially if you're home alone or if you're home and, it's quiet at home and you don't get a lot of interaction from people. It can actually be really, really long days. So it's super, super important. You can really fall into some bad habits when you've got a lot of time on your hands. You can end up, all those kind of afternoon naps that we might be having. I'm a little bit, I'm guilty. The issue with some of those things is that really affects, it affects our nighttime routine. So routine is going to be a massive part of staying well through this whole period. We really don't know how long we're going to be locked down for. At the moment, our rules are saying till Friday, but at the moment, it's not looking really positive. So what we're trying to do is if we can try and set some really regular sleep and wake patterns. If we keep a routine, if you're used to getting up, going to work, or getting up and going to school, whatever it might be, trying to keep some of those routine things are really, really important. So going to bed at a set time, getting up at a set time. At the moment, I can understand that, there's not really a need to jump out of bed and get up and do anything. The problem is if we start lazing in and taking a lot longer, it really throws our sense of purpose and our sense of, it actually affects our mood quite a lot when we get out of our normal routines. We are routine creatures and that's part of what we do. So it's super important. It's really good for our brain. The other thing is a lot of people are reporting to me they're struggling to get to sleep. A lot of people are suffering with insomnia at the moment. And part of that is because a lot of people are just kind of lazing around. We're not doing a huge amount of much. And if we don't have a good sleep routine, getting to sleep can be really, really hard. If you've had a nap on the sofa in the afternoon, it can actually affect us later. So whilst we don't necessarily want to have problems, it's important that we focus on getting some good sleep. So making sure we get a good sleep routine, which means getting the same 4 things done every single time before we go to sleep, making sure we're doing the same 3 activities. It's almost like a shutdown program for your computer. So we always shut down our computer before we go home, go to bed, whatever. We need to shut down our brain too. So that's really important. Sleep is actually really underrated. And if we're not sleeping well, it actually affects our mood too. All right. The next part of it is sometimes the days when they're feeling really long, there's a sense of what do I do? Has anyone experienced that? Pop in the shout box because I want it to be really interactive. Has anybody had that feeling of, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do, but I don't know what to do right now? What should I be doing with myself? I've got it's 8 in the morning and I don't know what to do. I don't know. I think I baked 1,000 things yesterday. Good. Joanna, yes. Dia, yes, absolutely. Okay, so Melanie, you're getting up late. Dave, yes, heaps to do, but I don't feel like doing it. Motivation, absolutely. A lot of cleaning getting done, Rosalie, for you. And Joanna, yes, your list is not happening. Totally. I get all of that. So here's a bit of a tip that I really want to share with you, is that if we use lunchtime as a marker, okay, to give us a sense of time, because time is just huge at the moment. We've run around our whole lives saying, I just need more time, I need more time, but now we're granted all this time and now it's like, don't know what to do with it. So what I find is really, really helpful is setting yourself a time in the day where it switches into another task. So it can be really useful to use lunchtime as your marker. Obviously, if you're sleeping in, that might not work for you, or those that are getting up late. But using lunchtime, you might choose dinner if you are a late starter. Putting lunchtime, 12, 1 o'clock, as a marker where you do an activity in the morning, have some lunch, and then switch to something different in the afternoon. So you've got your two kind of activities that you can juggle with. It can help you get motivated and flick into something else so that you've got a bit of a marking post for the day. Otherwise, the day just seems endless. So when you're waking up, you think, right, what am I doing between now and lunchtime? So you've got a set time post. It can just help with that sea of endless hours before bedtime, right? Does that make sense for people? I'm checking in. Please let me know if I'm okay and you're okay. Excellent. Melanie, yes, that's good. And I saw Marlon, you're finding weekends hard. Yes, totally. Good. Okay. Now, another tip I want to give you for those that are feeling really unmotivated. I saw a lot of people saying, I don't feel like doing anything. Absolutely, it's hard. It's like, what do I do? I've already been for my walk for the day. What am I going to do? That's if you felt like going for a walk. I didn't yesterday. I'm naughty. A really, really good tip to help kick motivation is to pick your tasks the night before, okay? There is nothing worse than getting up and going, what do I feel like doing? When we pin an action on a feeling, I can guarantee you we're not going to pick something that's going to be productive or motivating. We're always going to pick something easy that fits with how we feel. When we do the same with food. What do I feel like eating? We always pick things that are based on what is suiting us in the moment. And when waking up and we don't have a huge amount of motivation, we're going to pick really basic stuff. If you're wanting to shift that motivation, it's a really good idea to pick something that is going to be productive, small, achievable, but pick it the night before. So you might pick 2 tasks. You know those tasks that are sitting around the house, that laundry basket, that mountain of washing on a chair? Because I know each and every one of you have one in your house somewhere. There is always a chair with washing on it. I just know. I don't know how I know. I just know. Mount Washmore is always there. Absolutely, Rosalie. I have one too. There is always one in every house, I'm convinced. It's so important that we look for those little jobs that talk to you. They're those little ones that go, I've got to get that done. That'll make you feel better when you get it done because it's bothering you. If you pick one the night before and you say, tomorrow I'm waking up with that, you wake up, you know what you've got to get done. And you won't feel like it. You absolutely won't feel like it, but it's about pushing yourself through it so that you get the benefit of saying, hey, I feel good I did that. I feel really proud of myself I did that. I really didn't want to do it, but I pushed it and I felt much better for doing that. So pushing yourself to get those little things done is important because it helps you go into a positive state of I'm proud, I achieved, as opposed to why can't I do anything? What's wrong with me? I've wasted a whole day, and we get into this negative mindset. And that only affects our mood and makes us feel a whole lot worse, okay? So how is that going? We're talking about time and we're talking about tasks and all of that. Are we going okay? Give me a bit of a hello and let me know how are you doing. I'm just going to check the chat box. So Janani, you just said one day I'm motivated to clean and do laundry. Next day I can't even find the energy to do anything. Absolutely. And part of that is because we're in an unnatural environment where we're not really functioning as we would do. We don't have routines. We don't have time markers. We don't have tasks set. We're being inside with people that we're used to having time out from. So we're getting emotionally exhausted. That's part of what's happening too. We're not having the breaks away from people. Dia, you asked, is it normal to have bursts of motivation and why does that happen? Dia, that's really normal. We can get bursts of motivation. You might have moments where you're feeling really, really good and energetic and you've just achieved something and you kind of run off the back of that. That's completely normal. And then there will be times where you go, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted, I'm finished, I'm done. So it's about trying to keep moving so that we don't just fall into a big slump and feel dreadful. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Absolutely, Marlon, and it is really scary. It's hard getting out. Can everybody else see this chat as well? I'm not sure if you guys can see it. I'm hoping you can. Yep, getting out, face masks everywhere. It is quite scary, and for a lot of people, it is a scary thing. This is not something we're used to. Excellent. And yes, you can see. Thank you very much, Amy. Very helpful. Okay. So another part of good mental health, I'm going to press on because we've actually got a fair bit to cover, and I'm already aware we're 20 minutes in. So far, for those of you that have joined in late, it's good to catch you and it's good to see you in here. Part of what we've covered so far is obviously making sure that we've got set times, a time to change tasks in the middle of the day, picking 2 tasks the night before so that we can keep our momentum going, okay, and making sure that we're getting a good steady routine around getting to bed, waking up, so that we're not kind of all over the shop because it's actually going to make us feel a whole lot worse. All right. And I've even heard a whole bunch of people that are saying showering's getting really tough because there's not really any point. But I can tell you it will affect your mental health in time. So it's really important we keep those basic things going. Okay. Now, let's move into health and self. So we're going to talk about ensuring that we're trying to get out into the sunshine. Oh, Lyndall, I'm going to jump in. One big task is not to sit around in my nightie and dressing gown. I cannot have breakfast until I've showered and dressed. I also make myself wear jewelry every day. I love that, Lyndall. That's fantastic. And I've got my earrings on today too. I decided for this I was going to dress up. I'm still in my kind of home gear, but I've got earrings on today. So good to see you. So today I want you to have a think about getting into the sunshine. A lot of us are staying indoors, and I'm hearing from a lot of GPs that we've got a huge amount of vitamin D deficiency going on at the moment because people are not getting out. Partly because they're a little bit frightened of going out. We're being told to stay in. And sometimes we can take that very literally. If you've got a sunny balcony, if you've got a backyard, sitting outside and getting some sunshine is super, super important because we need to get that daylight. We need that, where our brain actually needs that sunshine. They've done so much research in countries that don't have a lot of sunlight or have short hours of sunlight. There's massive rates of depression over there. So it's really important we can step outside, get some fresh air, sit outside in the sunshine, go for your walk when you're allowed to do that. Obviously, restrictions. There's 2 people now. But making sure that you can get out if you can walk. Some people can't, and I'm really aware that some people can't. And I know lots of people that aren't able to go for a walk. So even if you can sit outside in the sunshine with a cup of tea, getting some of that sunshine is important. Also, if you are feeling particularly lethargic, fatigued, tired, check in with your GP. Make a telehealth phone call. They can get you a blood test, get your vitamins checked. Sometimes we've got not vitamins, get your blood checked, check if there's any deficiencies going on. There are a lot at the moment. If you haven't had a blood test in a long time, it's actually really useful. They can tell you if you are deficient, and that can be a really quick way of getting things back on track if you are feeling a bit rotten, okay? The other part of it is to be really kind to yourself. At the moment, we're getting through. We haven't done this before. Okay, we did it last year. But other than that, we have not As a group of people, we have not done this before. This is new. We've not experienced this kind of thing before. And a lot of people are starting to say, right, I'm going to diet. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to, do all these things. I really recommend for people there's a time and a place to push yourself. And if this is your time and place and it's going to make you feel good, that's fantastic. But it's not for everybody. For some people, they're getting really hung up. Why can't I just? Why can't I do this? Why can't I lose weight? There's a time and a place. Right now, we are pedaling like ducks on a pond trying to get through, right? We just want to get through the other side of this, and we want to be well, and we want to manage all of those things. So it's really, really important that we're kind to ourselves and not to beat yourself up about not losing weight or stopping smoking. There will come a time where you might decide to do that when you're feeling much better and less, much more steady. That will be really important. But right now, you do what it takes. If that's going to help, let's get through, and then we deal with it on the other side. Okay? Doctors will hate me for that. But I think it's important. And obviously the benefits, the exercise word, we all know 1,000 times. Yes, we should be exercising. Yes, it's very beneficial. For a lot of people, they don't like it. So even incidental movement, getting up, walking across the kitchen, backwards and forwards, hanging out, washing, incidental movement is important too. It does actually help our brain. So it is really important that we do that as much as we can. All right? That's the boring bit. So who here? How are we going? Let me check the chat box. I got to the earrings. That's right. It was jewelry. So Chris, you said it's hard when retired and there's not much to do amidst things that are as most things are done early in the morning. Totally hear you, Chris. Yes, absolutely. So I think it'd be really helpful for you at night to think about a task you can do. And I will come back. I'm going to give you some more things that we can get involved in a little bit later. I will definitely touch on that. So Chris flagged that with me. Things to do, finding things to do. Absolutely, that's really important. And Mel, that was lovely. Chris, do you like reading, Netflix, hobbies, cards, phone a friend? Beautiful. Love it. I'm going to give you a couple of different options as well. All right. Who struggles with a busy brain in lockdown? And Najla, I hear you about the kids. Kids who can't go out. Yes, totally. Busy brain. We're stuck with our own brains. When will this end? How will we manage? Okay, my husband and I are still working when our jobs aren't essential, and we actually feel anxious because we work with a large number of people. Staff attend with no masks or aren't wearing them appropriate. Absolutely. That's really, really hard. Seeing the news constantly is frustrating. Sometimes I just don't want to hear about it, but everything I seem to watch and all I hear is the virus. Absolutely, Melissa. I'm going to touch on that too. That's really, really important. My headspace is always full of what ifs and overthinking. Okay. So the next part I'm going to concentrate on is dealing with a busy brain. Okay. Sometimes it can feel like our brains are a washing machine on spin cycle. We get all these thoughts that are swimming around. When is this going to end? How are we going to manage? What about homeschooling? How are we going to get through? What if this goes on for the next 6 weeks? All of those things are running. And it's really important that we try and get on top of that. And I can see a lot of you are chatting and feeling the same. Janani, I can see that you're the same as Marlon. Beautiful. All right. So one strategy that you can use, and I'm sure that you've all heard about it in some context or capacity, is using mindfulness. Mindfulness can be really good at noticing those negative thoughts that are popping in, but not engaging with them. There's a difference between having a thought. It usually pops in as a what if, and then we go and answer it. Mindfulness allows you to notice a thought and come back to what you're doing. So what we're doing is getting out of our head and into our body. A really quick grounding technique that I can give you today. I mean, I can spend weeks talking about this with all of you, and I'm just trying to be as, succinct as I can. I might even extend and do some extra sessions in different things if you find that particularly useful. But I'm just going to touch on them all today, see what interests people, and then we'll go from there, because obviously I'm aware we're short on time. I'm trying to give you as much as I can to make it helpful. But a really quick strategy that can be really useful if your mind is racing, to just take a breath, stop for a minute, Focus on what's around you and find 10 things you can see, 10 things you can hear, and 10 things you can touch. If you can use that strategy with those 10 things, it can actually help you to ground yourself into your body, out of your head, into your body, and it gives you a sense of being present. So you're very much in that moment. So instead of what if, okay, stop for a second. What have I got in my hands? What can I see? What can I touch? And it brings you into that moment. So it's a really good strategy to bring you back when your brain is starting to take you somewhere else. That's a really short one. And you can do active mindfulness. You can do some colouring in, some drawing if you like that kind of thing. And photography is a really good way of being mindful too, because you've got to be very present to find a really beautiful picture. Some people were taking photos through COVID to mark this event in history, and were taking moments, pictures along the way. It was really lovely to see, actually. There's quite a bit of it out there. So it's actually quite nice. I like photography. I find it really a really good way of using mindfulness. All right. Another way to get our minds focused, or refocused, I guess, is to try and reframe how we see the lockdown. Our immediate response as human beings is everything is changing. We're being locked in. Everything's being taken away. And our immediate thing as a human being is to kind of resist that. No, I don't want you to take that away from me. I don't want you to lock me in here. I want to make my own choices. And it becomes very, very difficult. Part of, once we start to learn to accept what's happening, and we take that, okay, this is what it is. We can't change it. The world's gone mad and we can't do much about that, is we start to focus on what we can control. What do I have control over today? What is in my hands? I can control what I say, what I do. I have control over what tasks I engage in. I have control over what I'm thinking about, what I'm engaging in. And you can look at what opportunities can this give me? What opportunities do I have with my kids today? What opportunities do I have to spend with my partner today? What opportunities can I create with this time I have today? So it's about re-shifting as opposed to something that's imposed on us. What can I do with it? How am I going to get creative and find ways of using this creatively? I got myself a bit bummed yesterday and I thought, well, I had nothing to do on Sunday. I'm going to spend my afternoon, instead of having a nap today, I'm going to run a webinar. And here I am. So it's about getting creative. If you're creative in something, if you're a photographer, you could do these kind of things and teach people how to do things and how to, if you're a knitter or a crocheter or something, you could do some online webinars and teach people how to do it, Facebook Lives. There's so many different things you can get involved in. What can we do with this time, and give yourself some time to think about that. The other thing that can be really useful when your brain is busy is to talk out loud so your ears can hear it. When we talk, our ears are super, super, super good at it's a bit like a messy ball of wool. And when we speak, we start to wind it. We wind it. And so we get to our place where our brains can reprocess it. So even if you're sitting in your bedroom and you're going, oh my gosh, I can't believe, what if this is another 6 weeks? And you just let it all out, talk out loud. You can talk until you don't need to anymore. And that actually can help you process some really big feelings, some worries, concerns. You just blurt it all out. A car is a good place for that. For those of you that have, houses where you're all on top of each other, it can actually be good to sit in your car and have a good old chat to yourself. You can cry, scream, yell, shout. Nobody's there to worry about it. You can do that on the way to getting the groceries. Or you can write. The more you write, the better it is for you to process some of those feelings that are coming up for you. And it gets it out of here. It's almost like we're downloading a USB and letting go of stuff. And that can be really, really helpful. Okay. So that's strategies for a busy brain. How are we doing? I'm just checking in. I'm popping back to the chat box, seeing how we're going. So let me know if I've missed any chat. I'm not good at reading and talking. I get really super distracted, and I'm so sorry for that. It's just something that I can't read and talk at the same time. So Yes, Marlon, your headspace is always full of overthinking. Sure. Oh, and you're glad that you're not alone. That's fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you, everyone. That's lovely. I really appreciate the appreciation. It's lovely. So let's move on. Another part of getting through and looking after your mental health is going to be forming connections. A lot of you are talking about it's really hard when you're alone. And especially this is for those of you that are alone, even if, and it may not be that you're alone, it might be that you're just feeling isolated away from family or not utilizing your normal connections that you normally would. Not meeting up. Last year, I guess it was different. We could all kind of have a street party and not go anywhere, but now we're limited to 2 outdoors. It's making it more and more restrictive and isolating. So that is a very difficult thing. Forming connections is really, really important. Getting involved in things online can be really helpful for those of you. Obviously, you all are savvy online because you're here, which is fantastic. So utilising platforms like Eventbrite. Eventbrite, for those that haven't heard it before, there's a whole range of courses and topics and things you can learn, and running workshops, and you can learn how to bake the most amazing brownies, and all sorts of things that you can find in there. So there's those kind of platforms that are really good for that. Similarly, there's Meetup, which are places where you can meet people that are in your area. There's also Nextdoor, which is an app where you can actually chat with your next door neighbours. You set your kind of location, suburb, and you can talk to people in your suburb and, hey, we're doing this, or obviously we can't do things right now, but a lot of people are chatting online, which is really nice to see that they're kind of forming those connections. I think that's important. Facebook groups are really helpful as well. Having conversations, starting conversations. If there isn't a Facebook group about something you're interested in, you can create one. And you can have a whole bunch of people that think like you, that love what you do, and you can create your own community. You might have a passion about dogs, and you can have, dog lovers Facebook group where people can come and join in, and you can get chatting with people that you like and do live videos. There's so many things you can do, but it's about thinking laterally about how do I still maintain connection even though I'm here. So we've got to use and leverage the internet for that to try and maintain community. I mean, look at this, 2:00 in the afternoon on a Sunday, and we've got 30 people that are hanging out, which I think is fantastic. So we just have to think a bit more laterally about how we connect. So Facebook is a great platform for that, but it's got to be safe and you've got to be careful. There's a lot of people that get really grumpy in Facebook groups, so you've got to ensure that you are able to move past them. Some people don't filter socially very well, so you've just got to be mindful and be okay if somebody is being a bit silly. So you've just got to be mindful if you're fragile to choose your platforms carefully, okay? Another really great platform is Udemy. Udemy run courses, short courses in just about anything. Absolutely anything you can think of will be in Udemy. So you can jump on there, get some information, learn something. You might have always wanted to learn another language. Now's an opportunity. Got an afternoon free? I'm going to go and learn something. And you can do some short courses. It actually helps keep your brain engaged so that we're not constantly thinking of things to do. And I think somebody mentioned earlier that they were struggling to come up with things and know what to do, but maybe you could, spend some time Google searching something that interests you, and you might find short courses, Facebook groups in it. There's a whole range of different things that you can get engaged in. So it's just about thinking and being clever about it. Okay. So how are we traveling? I'm checking if I've got everything. Liz, you like talking out loud is a helpful strategy. Fantastic. And lots of thank yous. So thank you, everyone. That's great. Amy, you're typing. Rosalie, I've taken up painting this week. Yay, well done, Rosalie. That's awesome. And I love when people post stuff to Facebook that they've done. I love it. I have found out some of my friends have got the most amazing skills I didn't know. Tips for people with small kids at home and how to keep them busy. Amy, it is the $30,000 question. It is really tough. I've got kids myself. It is a real struggle at the moment to try and keep them busy. I'm fortunate we've got lots of kids in the street that kind of, it depends on age of kids, but kids are actually connecting and they're very clever at it. There's Messenger Kids. Now, Facebook have created through the last lockdown something called Messenger Kids. So all your friends on Facebook that have kids can talk to each other. So my kids are busy messaging all their friends outside saying, hey, I want to play. And they're all kind of going out and bike riding and doing those things. But it's actually kind of cool. It depends on what age. But yes, it is difficult. There's a lot of parenting groups though. Amy, there's a lot of parenting groups on Facebook, and you will probably, if you put a post for tips, you're going to have 1,000 comments of some really creative mums that just have got great ideas. My favourite personal idea is getting a bucket of water and a paintbrush and say, paint the driveway. And they have a ball for hours. Mine love it. And they used to love it and they still love it and they're older now. So that can be really useful. It's just coming up with some interesting, if you Google search creative activities, I don't like mess too much. I like water painting. It's great fun. Paint the fence. It's good fun. Excellent. And yes, you're right, Linda. I've missed a couple of comments. Sorry. And the kids see the news too. How to explain what's going on there. Absolutely, Marlon. It's about breaking down news. I might come back to some of these comments because I want to stay focused, and then I'm going to jot that one down. News with kids. I'm just taking notes and I'm going to come back to that one because that's a whole kind of separate thing and it's very, very important. And yes, Lyndall, kids respond well to routine at any age. Absolutely. Timetable, play, and you can do that 2 tasks for the kids as well. Using lunch as the break, they can do a task in the morning, break, something different in the afternoon. I find visual charts really good for the kids where you've actually got lunchtime in there and you can put a picture of something and something in the afternoon. Kids are very good with that. Mine love that. They like to know, what are we doing? Especially when we've got homeschooling, and that might be another webinar I do about how to navigate homeschooling because it's a bit crazy. Chalk on the driveway. Chalk is flying off the shelves. Yes, absolutely, Belle. Love it. So there's a lot of good ideas you guys are coming up with. And there's a YouTube, Jay, you said there's a really good YouTube video narrated by Donald Sutherland, some situation, not scary, but not bad. Fantastic. It's good to know. I didn't know that. Very good. So let's push on. The next part of it that I was going to talk about is very much about this stuff about limiting anxiety-provoking input. So when we went into lockdown, a whole bunch of us sit on our phones and it's like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, look what this person said, look what this person said it's going to be another 6 weeks. And the media's job is to sensationalize so that we click, right? Media's job is to click. Media's job is to increase our anxiety so that we click the button so we can find out what's happening. That is their job. So essentially, when we're on our devices and we're seeing these news articles coming in, they are, 20 people in ICU, someone age 60, like they put these massive sweeping statements. When you actually do read it, not many people actually go through and read articles. They use the headline and then that's the news, right? So the amount of time we spend on social media, we need to be aware that whilst it's a very, very good outlet in connection, if we're constantly checking stats, numbers, cases, it creates anxiety, right? We get nervous, we get anxious, what's going to happen, how are we going to function, all of that stuff. So we have to remember they're doing this for clicks because they want us to follow the news. That is their job, right? Checking news and updates is important because we need to know, we need to be informed. But maybe it's important as well about making sure that we limit the amount we do it. I myself have been suckered in the first round when all this was brand new, checking every few minutes. What's the latest update? What else has happened? And before you know it, you become completely anxious about, oh my gosh, what's happening? And we feel out of control. And we're being fed by all of that and yes, Rosalie, clickbait, we're very much being fed this diet of anxiety. We're not going to feel good. We're sitting at home. We're by ourselves. We're being told that, this ooga booga is outside. And so we become really anxious. So limiting the amount that we're reading is going to be beneficial. If you want to read a book, read something different, check the stats, check what you need to, but not all the time. Because if you're reading it all the time, your mind is full of it. It doesn't give you the space to be creative, engage, do those things that are good for us. Okay? Does that sound all right? Let me see. I'm chat box checking. Very good, Rosalie. Setting COVID update boundaries. Fantastic. Dia, excellent. That's good. Belle, excellent. Good. All right. Now, some other things I also need. Now, we're kind of getting to the wrapping up bit. I also want to make sure that you all have access to crisis support numbers. There are so many available, but there's actually some that you might not know. I might even do a bit of a screen share if I can. Let me see if I can do that. Let me see if I can screen share. Yes, I can. Oops, I'm going to try and share my screen. No, it's not letting me. Let me try one more thing. And that's not going to help. I want that to go away. I hope I still have you all. Let's try something else. No. No, it's not working how I thought it would. No. Anyway, never mind. I might be able to send it a different way. Oh no, is there a double of me? What have I done? Oh no, how have I done that? Is there really? How bizarre. I don't know what I've done. I'm sorry, people. Anyway, now you have two of me to deal with. Oh no, have I ruined it, have I? Okay, let me see if I can turn off screen share. It's not working. No. I don't know what I've done. Oh goodness, I'll turn off my mic and turn it back on. Is that any better? Are we back? All right. I don't know what I've done. Sorry, everyone. I tried to screen share, but basically what I'm looking at giving you is whether I can give you some it's my twin. That's exciting. So what I wanted to give you was some numbers, okay? There's a whole range of numbers that you can access. So obviously the big ones are Lifeline. You know that, 13 11 14. There's also a text message service that Lifeline uses, which is 0477 13 11 14. And you can actually text them from 12 till 12. So 12 noon till 12 at midnight if you're finding you can't talk openly at home. So that's really important. A lot of people don't know that. Mental health access line, which is the public system. Oh, yes, I can repeat that. Actually, I might even post it in the chat. I'm just seeing if I can. Yeah, I absolutely can put them in the chat. Hang on, let me just see if I can copy them. I'm going to see if I can do a copy and paste. Yeah. Oh, no. It didn't like that there were too many in there. I will put them in there, and if not, I will send you all an email, because anybody that's accessed today, I will send you an email with the list later, okay? So I've got all your email addresses, so I will send you an email later after the session with a document that will have all the numbers, okay? There's a new one in Macarthur that I wanted to draw your attention to, which is Safe Haven. Safe Haven Cafe is new, And it's a drop-in coffee shop that's got people who are mental health advocates, mentors that can actually support people. So that's in Ambervale, so that's really important. Have I still got everybody? Is everyone okay? Excellent. All right, good. I will post them in the chat as well, but I will also send a list to all of you via email later. All right. So, and there's also a couple of free psychology services. Obviously, you know, RW Psychology, I love our clinic, we're amazing. But this isn't so much to drum up business. We're busy, we are super busy. But we do have 2 clinicians that do have vacancy at Oran Park at the moment. They've just started at Oran Park, so you've got some availability there. You're always welcome to come in. And you're also able to access, if you need a bulk billing service, there's places like getmosh.com.au and someone.health that does bulk billing via telehealth. I just want to make sure that people have got resources and they've got somewhere to connect with. So that's super important. Okay, so that is pretty much all I've got for coverage today. Something that somebody mentioned, news with the kids, how to share COVID information with the kids. It is a really tough one. It is a tough one because kids worry and they don't understand, especially on the back of not going back to school. What does that mean for them? They see all these big scary masks. It's just about trying to give it to them in pieces that is gentle, that they can understand, so that there's it's a bit like a really nasty cold and flu, and we don't want them to get sick. So we're putting these on to keep people safe so that they don't get that sickness too. So it's about trying to break down. I wouldn't be giving kids exposure to the news at the moment because it's all very sensationalist, and people in ICU, and I don't think it's news is a great thing for kids. It's targeted for adults. So, but there are some really great kids news shows like BTN, they watch at school and stuff, but obviously it's got to be age appropriate. Okay. Does that cover that? I can't remember who asked me that. I'm sorry. I think it was you, Marlon. I can't remember. So how is that for everybody? Is there any other questions anybody wanted to ask? How is that sitting with everyone? Thank you, Marlon, for joining me. Rosalie, thank you. Melanie, thank you. Belinda, fantastic. Oh, I'm so glad. Melissa, good to see you. Oh, thanks, everyone. And look, I'm thinking, and Joe, obviously, Jennifer, thank you. Oh, fantastic, Lyndall. I'm so glad. Excellent, Amy. Good planning. Awesome. And Naj, good to see you too. Look, obviously, you are all welcome to stay in touch. RW Psychology has got a Facebook page. You're always welcome. I'm putting stuff in there every day between Instagram and Facebook. I'm everywhere. We've got a wonderful, wonderful team of clinicians. And I guess more than anything, I'd love to be able to bring more insightful kind of webinars moving forward. I'd love to do one on homeschooling. I want to do one on managing emotions, the emotional roller coaster, how to deal with big feelings, a whole range of things. If anyone has any suggestions or anything that would be useful for them, you're always welcome to be in touch. You can get me, I'll just post in here my email address. Oops, bad typing. There we go. You can reach me there anytime. And obviously the Facebook page, you're always welcome to follow along. I often do lives in there as well. So I just randomly come up with a topic. We're YouTube. We've got a whole range of things. So there's actually a library I did a couple of years ago. I did a 90-day vlog. So there's lots and lots of mental health input there that you're welcome to access. That's all free to access. So I hope it's been helpful. I hope it's useful. I will definitely send you those crisis numbers so that you can use them as you need. I will also post them in here now as long as you find them helpful. Any last thoughts, comments, questions before we wrap up? Oh, pleasure, Rosalie. It's been wonderful. And to be honest, I've really enjoyed it. I think it's really lovely to connect with people. I love trying to help people where I can. And I'd love to, I think Sunday afternoon is kind of a nice time. Usually I'm out and about doing something. I can't. So why not? Might do a few more. We'll see how we go. Absolutely, Amy. It is nice to see so many people showing up. And thank you for all showing up. You didn't have to. So it's lovely to actually have faces in here. It's been absolutely wonderful. So thank you all for giving me your time and your ears. More than happy. I might even, I will obviously send the link, and I might run another one soon if it's helpful. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate your time. Any last questions? Oh, thank you, dear. It's good to have you. And Melanie, thank you. All right, well, thanks everybody. It's been lovely spending some time with you on a Sunday. Have a lovely afternoon. Enjoy as best you can. Let's find a new perspective on what we can do with our time, taking control, setting ourselves some tasks, setting some time limits, barriers, all that kind of stuff. And have a lovely week. All right, bye for now.